Estée Lauder and Puig are swapping paper. An all-stock beauty deal usually just means nobody wants to admit what their cash is actually worth right now.
Oh, please. It's basic capital preservation. Though I ran the math on the implied premium, and it is borderline offensive.
Offensive is my favorite kind of premium, almost as offensive as SBAC floating sale rumors just to goose their stock price this week.
You really think that leak was manufactured?
I know a desperate banker leak when I see one. Speaking of bankers, Goldman officially swallowed Innovator Capital today. The rundown.
158 million for SE&M is honestly a steal if you look at their southeast footprint. Everus just bought themselves a massive shortcut.
It's the definition of a textbook bolt-on. You pay the premium to avoid spending 3 years trying to build out regional distribution from scratch.
Exactly. But the deal I can't stop looking at is Goldman officially closing on Innovator Capital Management.
Oh, the structured outcome ETF guys? Goldman is basically buying a money printing machine for nervous investors.
Right. But look at the timing. They're acquiring downside protection products right when the broader market is running hot. It's a fantastic hedge for their own wealth management arm.
Speaking of hedging, how about Finnish defense tech? Sensofusion just bought Atol Aviation.
That one is genuinely fascinating. Sensofusion does counter-drone tech, and now they buy an actual aircraft manufacturer to put their air-to-ground sensors directly onto the hardware. Total vertical integration.
Makes sense. If you're building the brains, you might as well own the skull.
Gross analogy, Nate, but accurate.
I try. We also saw Court Square grab a majority stake in CallTower, and Apollo is picking up Gatehouse Living in the UK. Real estate just keeps moving.
Don't forget the Engine and Nucleous merger. They're mashing together to make an omnichannel retail platform for CPGs. Sounds like a total buzzword salad in the press release, but the underlying data play is actually solid.
I'll take your word on the buzzwords. What I care about is the rumor mill. SBAC Communications is officially on the block.
Allegedly on the block. The stock bumped on whispers. Nate, don't price the deal before the pitch deck is even printed.
Oh, come on. Where there's a sudden stock bump, there's a junior banker leaking to the press. You know exactly how this works. Cell towers are prime real estate right now.
Sure, but who is the buyer at this valuation? Private equity is still choking on debt costs. I'm highly skeptical a strategic buyer steps up. Show me the term sheet first.
We will see. But if you want a deal that's entirely driven by paper, look at the cosmetics aisle. Estée Lauder and Puig are reportedly advancing talks on a massive stock-based beauty swap.
Now that is a structure I want to tear apart. Swapping paper in the beauty sector right now takes some serious nerve. The big one. I just do not see David Solomon wearing a Patagonia vest and talking about disruptive ETF strategies.
Give the man some credit. Goldman officially closed the Innovator Capital Management deal this morning, and honestly, it is exactly what they needed.
Is it? Because to me, it looks like a classic case of a legacy bank buying a shiny object. Innovator has a great defined outcome product lineup. They built a real moat, but integrating a nimble, thematic shop into the massive Goldman machine, that is where the friction happens.
You are completely underestimating the distribution power here. Goldman does not need to adopt their culture. They do not need to do trust falls in the break room. They just need to put Innovator's products into the hands of thousands of private wealth advisors. It is a pure plumbing play.
Pure plumbing usually comes with a few leaks. I was digging into the structure. They are keeping the Innovator management team on board, but they are tying their earnouts to some incredibly aggressive asset under management hurdles.
Which is standard operating procedure. Trust me, I have written those exact term sheets. You lock the founders in, you juice the internal sales channels, and everybody gets rich. It is practically a paint-by-numbers acquisition.
We will see who is still painting in 2 years. I just hate when acquiring companies pretend nothing is going to change. Everything changes.
Fair point. But if you want a deal where the strategy is completely transparent, look at Everus.
Finally, something we can agree on. $158 million for SE&M.
Exactly. No fluff. Just a straight-up territorial land grab in the southeast.
I love a boring, concrete rationale. Everus needs a bigger footprint in that region, and building it organically would take half a decade.
It is a smart multiple, too. Everus gets immediate scale in a market they have been trying to crack for years. It is like buying the house next door just to expand your driveway.
Wait, really? That is your analogy? Buying a whole house for a driveway?
You know what I mean. The real estate value is in the footprint.
Sure, but looking at the SE&M financials, that house has some serious deferred maintenance. Their operating margins in the Florida market have been slipping for 3 consecutive quarters.
Temporary blip, you plug them into the Everus supply chain, strip out the redundant back office costs, and those margins correct by Q3.
See, this is where we always disagree. You think integration is magic. I think buying a margin-compressed business is a massive gamble. $158 million is not pocket change for a company like Everus.
It is a totally calculated risk, and the market is rewarding them for it.
Calculated by a management team that missed their own revenue guidance last year. Forgive me if I'm not popping champagne just yet.
You are ruthless today. Fine, keep reading the SE&M footnotes. I am much more interested in the sudden volume spike over at SBAC Communications.
Oh, the whisper numbers on that one are getting extremely loud.
Very loud. The stock is jumping, the bankers are circling, and I have a strong theory on who is actually preparing to write that check. Voices. I am just not buying this SBAC Communications leak. The stock gets a nice little momentum bump on whispers they are exploring a sale, and suddenly every analyst is treating it like a done deal.
Well, the analysts are just chasing the tape. Look at the volume on that stock bump. But you really think it is just a leak to test the waters?
Classic banker move. Float a rumor, watch the share price pop. Take that new market cap into your Friday pitch meeting. I used to write those exact slide decks.
I love when you out your former self, but honestly, I am way more interested in the gossip coming out of the cosmetics world. Estée Lauder and Puig are apparently advancing talks for a massive transaction. And get this, predominantly stock.
A beauty swap. I actually love that. Puig just went public. They have that fresh currency, and Estée Lauder desperately needs a narrative reset. It is a perfect marriage.
Oh, please. It is a terrible marriage. A predominantly stock deal right now? Estée Lauder's equity has been hammered. Puig taking that paper is wild to me. I need to see the exchange ratio before I believe anyone is actually signing this.
You are so cynical. Sometimes the strategic fit overrides the near-term paper value.
Math overrides everything, Nate. Speaking of math, did you see the UBS note on Cintas?
Yeah, calling them a compelling buy.
Right. Because UniFirst reported earnings and accidentally proved that Cintas has the better M&A strategy. It is my favorite kind of analyst note. Upgrading a company because their rivals' results were just that uninspiring.
It is brutal, but it works.
We will see if the market agrees tomorrow. And while we are watching the tape tomorrow, keep an eye on biotech. Gilead just officially extended the expiration date for its tender offer on Arcellx.
Plus, we have got the final closing procedures on Zegen taking over Allied Gold. Shareholder approval is finally locked.
Which means we get to read the final deal docs. My absolute favorite part. Spill the tea.
I'm just saying, you don't get a stock bump like SBAC Communications got this morning purely on a whisper. Someone is leaking.
Or someone's wishcasting. Look, the rumor is they're exploring a sale, but who's the buyer for a cell tower REIT right now? Interest rates are still chewing up the debt markets.
Private equity is sitting on mountains of dry powder Maya. Infrastructure is the ultimate safe haven. You buy the towers, you clip the coupons. It's classic banker logic.
Classic banker logic usually ignores the actual cost of capital. I'll believe an SBAC deal when I see a definitive agreement, not a perfectly timed leak to prop up the equity.
You're so cynical.
I read the footnotes, Nate. It makes you cynical. But speaking of equity, we need to talk about the Estée Lauder and Puig rumors. They're reportedly advancing talks, and it's structured as a predominantly stock-based transaction.
A beauty swap. I love it. Nothing says we believe in the synergies quite like paying with your own shares.
Oh, come on. Nothing says, we're terrified of leveraging our balance sheet, quite like paying with your own shares. Estée Lauder has had a brutal year. Using stock is a defensive move, not a vote of confidence.
Wow. I disagree completely. Pug just went public. If you're Estée Lauder, you use your stock because it ties the Pug family to the long-term upside. You're marrying the dynasties. It isn't defensive, it's a prenup.
A prenup where one side pays retail price for the other's growth? I want to see the exchange ratio before I call it a marriage.
Fair enough. We'll keep tracking the beauty drama. But we also have some actual deadlines to watch tomorrow, right?
We do. Gilead officially pushed the expiration date for its tender offer for Arcellx, so biotech watchers need to update their calendars. Plus, Zgene finally got shareholder approval for Allied Gold, so we should see those closing procedures wrap up. Tomorrow's radar. Muito mahal.
I'm telling you, the SBAC communications rumor is more than just noise. The stock bumped way too hard today for a pure fishing expedition.
Oh, please. Exploring a sale is just banker code for we want to see if anyone is dumb enough to pay a premium right now. Show me a real bidder.
Fine, be a skeptic, but keep your eyes on the biotech ticker tomorrow morning. Gilead just kicked the can down the road again on the Arcellx tender offer.
They extended the expiration date again. I read the filing. That's exactly what happens when you completely misread the room on shareholder appetite.
Or they're just clearing regulatory hurdles. Same with Zgene taking over Allied Gold. Shareholder approval is in, so tomorrow is just the final closing procedures.
The only closing I care about tomorrow is Estée Lauder. If they actually pull off this PUI transaction using mostly stock, it's a masterclass in spending inflated currency.
Now that is a beautiful trade. We'll be tracking that all week, plus whatever UBS thinks they know about Cintas. See you tomorrow.